evening and welcome to another Big Fat Arts. I'm Linzi and tonight we're talking to two people who in certain circles need no introduction, and definitely their artwork has been seen all around Melbourne. Tonight we have Frank and Leonie Sosowski. How are you both?
Excellent, very well.
Excellent.
Pleased to be here.
That's good to hear, Frank. Now, what I'd like to ask first of all is your lifestyle reflecting your art, reflecting your lifestyle.
Oh, you go ahead. You start off with that, Leonie.
It's circular.
It is circular. We know that you're involved in the leather scene really heavily, and a lot of your work is very, well, it's metallic, it's heavy.
Well, it was metallic until we couldn't afford the insurance anymore. We've been working as blacksmiths for 5-6 years, and with the money that we weren't earning and the requirements for insurance, we just couldn't play blacksmiths anymore, so we've
changed
stopped
direction.
doing that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And what did as a medium, was that your first choice, or was it just something that you fell into, or was it again dominated by lifestyle?
It was mainly something that we fell into. Well, there's a scene in the film Easy Rider where the bikes come up to this blacksmith type shop and they try to get their bikes fixed. And I thought it was really good, and I happened to like the movie, so I thought, well, why not play?
Why not be a blacksmith?
Quite right. Maybe people come and give me a ride on their house.
So it was sort of art-inspiring art rather than lifestyle inspiring art.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And what about your involvement with the MLPA? You've been actively involved with that for many years, I believe.
Oh, yes, that's right. Well, as a blacksmith, you see, you get to do quite a few old-fashioned type things. That is, you can make racks, you can make whipping posts, you can make all kinds of marvelous torture instruments. You'd love it. Drop around my place and see.
I have been to your place. Again, if we can go back to lifestyle and the reflection of your art in your lifestyle, and that circular question again, your house is very much, I mean, you're not, well, these two are not your everyday couple. That your house is like, it's like a little castle. Was that again something that happened by accident, or was it on purpose, or was it again an extension of your art and your lifestyle?
That happened 20-odd years ago.
So you really...
The house happened 20-odd years ago, but when you look back on it, we were scroungers then too. We were scrounging steel from construction site bins, and, you know, the rear steel for the blacksmithing. Half the house is covered in wood that we bought. Wood that covers half the house for $5, I think we paid for it. All we could fit in the back of the car. Yeah. Wood they used to slice off the tops of rough cut logs and burn.
So that was actually my next question. Was that out of necessity, or out of being conscious of the environment, or what was that about?
Being stingy, mainly.
Being stingy.
Well, see, stinginess is sort of...
inbred.
Stinginess is a concomitant of being broke. Although originally, well, I worked in a very highly paid industry, but the industry is about control, and I'm more into not being controlled. I'd rather do my own thing. Really, look, we just picked up stuff out of dump masters, and we built the house as it is. We won't tell you what suburb we live in, because we certainly wouldn't want the council around that ask all kinds of funny questions. We certainly wouldn't want that.
Fair enough.
We may have to detain an inspector in some of the more interesting contraptions we've got kicking around.
So if I can keep the focus on the pair of you, you're both married, you've been married for
nearly 25 years.
Okay, but you identify as queer. Can you expand on that a little bit? Because it's leading up to your latest venture, basically. You want to expand on that? Can you expand on that?
Can you expand? Well, it depends what you mean by the word queer. I don't know whether Leonie will agree with me. The word queer can often be, a lot of people use it as a substitute for homosexual. I'm using the word homosexual as opposed to gay and lesbian. I'm just trying to be technical. Queer means, well, queer, that's circular. Queer means...
It encompasses everything. It encompasses everybody. For me, queer means that I don't have to say gay, lesbian, transsexual, transgender, bisexual, and how many other titles you have. I think if you use queer, you encompass all of that, or the whole lot.
And you think the word queer actually goes beyond sexuality?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I'd say to be queer, you really have to be, or you've got to be left of centre.
Yeah.
If you're a new rightist, if you're, well, like some of our good politicians, you're probably not, you ain't going to be queer.
Into the families.
See, it's really difficult because the thing is, you could be the managing director of a large corporation, as money-oriented, as money-grabbing as they come, and you could still be into S&M. In other words, you could go up to any of the dungeons around town, have your bum spanked red raw, come out there, declare yourself absolutely head straight right down the track, money-grabbing, go around, you know, screwing workers up the bum, this sort of thing. And yet you could call yourself queer. So you see, it's really circular. It's very hard to identify. Queer is anybody who wants to call themselves queer. It's about as simple as that.
But I think it's political.
Oh yeah.
To be queer or claiming to be queer is a political statement. And when I call myself queer, I use the word because a lot of people don't like it. And it also it messes society up. It mixes it up. It takes away this male, female, heterosexual lifestyle, family, kids, all that. So it just mixes it up and
So it's
takes
like
the rigidness out of it.
Yeah. Because Leonie, you also study, like you're very heavily involved you attend Melbourne University.
I'm a professional student.
Professional student. So, okay, if we just for a little minute, if we can sort of focus on that, like being queer at Melbourne University, which is one of our more established, very square, well, it's seen as being a very square university. Are you open about your queerness, if you will, with your
well, I don't wear a label that says, queer, but I'm one of the older students, and I don't wear the right clothes and that sort of thing.
So you don't wear the frilly frocks, you don't frock up or anything like that?
No.
Oh, I do occasionally, though.
Yeah, Frank, we know. What is it, Delta? Who's your alter ego? Delta?
Catherine. My drag name is Catherine. Delta Smith, that's another story.
Oh, Delta Smith was another story. Now, some of you may have seen this in bookstores. I believe it was in Hares and Hyenas. Postmodern Queer, which is the latest offering from Leonie and Frank. Do you want to give us a little bit of the history about postmodern queer, how the concept came about, what it's about? If you can, because we were talking earlier about this and it is quite complex.
Well, as you can see, pinning down the word queer is fine because it's open to so many interpretations. Postmodern is much the same sort of thing. If I had to define postmodernism, really the one thing I'd have to say is that it means the death of the meta-narrative. There is no meta-narrative. There is no big story. The gods are dead. There is no governing factor. For instance, the particular issue you've got in your hand addresses gender. Now, in non-postmodern mode, you say that there are things like males and females. I don't think this is the case at all. I think there's quite a gamut between the male and the female. I think as well, each person can be attributed a gender. That's what I would call masculine and feminine. Now, you're not at one end or the other. You can be anywhere in between, and you float from one end to the other, or whatever you want. You don't have to be consistent. You can change as much as you like. Thirdly, I would add sexuality. Now, in a classic situation, in a well-founded hetero situation, you'd have a male who happens to be masculine, who happens to be heterosexual. And conversely, of course, you'd have a female who happens to be feminine and who is heterosexual as well. But you can see between these three factors, you can achieve anything. I believe that there's no such thing as male, female. I don't think that there's anything as masculine, feminine. I don't think there's such a thing as homosexual, heterosexual. You're wherever you want. You can do any damn thing you jolly well like. The problem comes back to labeling. If you don't worry about labeling, you can do whatever you want.
And just very quickly, do you think that's a problem with gay people? Like that they wear a label, or they need to have an identity as such to be accepted by their peers or by the outside world, whereas you two basically stand alone with who you are and what you do.
Labels. I might insult the gay lesbian society. Well, you have to have gay and lesbian to do this mixing up that I was talking about before. So the labels exist. The labels are there. And until queer takes off like with a big bang, lesbian and gay, I think, are important.
This issue, is this being released yet?
No, this one's being released in conjunction with Leather Pride Week.
Leather Pride Week.
This issue addresses sadomasochism.
Right. Which, Frank, just very briefly, can we talk about your appendage and what you're actually working on at the moment, one of your pieces?
You mean my body modification?
That's the one.
Right.
I couldn't find the right words.
Well, in the particular case, what we're doing here, we've gone from steel, so paper, if you like, in a publishing enterprise.
Which is also picked up on next to nothing.
Right. One of the things we're doing, we're experimenting with body modification. In this particular case, it involves scarification. For midsummer, well, it's coming midsummer for January, February, we're doing a series of artworks whereby I'm having some scars cut into my body. Leonie does this on a weekly basis. It refreshes the scars, and as everything's nice and bloody, you take a piece of cloth, put it right over there. The blood seeps into the cloth, and once it's dried up, it can be hung up on a wall, this type of thing. The part of my body that's being modified is my dick and my balls. My genitals are being nicely cut up. It's quite a lovely sight. Actually, the best part that I find about it...
Oh, please.
I love it.
We know not to have a barbecue at your house.
We're vegetarian.
Vegetarian. It's a bit of a...
Vegetarians. Okay. Now, you also, with Leather Pride, I think actually when this goes to air, we might be just beginning Leather Pride Week. When's it starting? October 17?
October 16th, 17th.
October 16th. And the Kink Art Show at Barracuda, which is opening on Saturday the 17th of October.
This is right.
That is by the...
it's put on by Leather Pride. Anybody's quite welcome on the 17th to come over. It's from 1:30 to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Lots of drinkies.
Fantastic.
Drinkies.
Excellent. Get along there, Barracuda 17th. Well, Leonie and Frank, we thank you for coming in this evening, and we will see you next week on Big Fat Arts.